Morning friends, afternoon friends, evening friends. We just had a little mini disaster. It's a beautiful way to start my Sunday. Just dropped my beverage all over the ground. So we had an emergency clean-up session. We're okay now. Everyone's fine. Everything's fine. It's just an inauspicious start to the day. All will be well. And in fact, I feel like it's going to be a great day. We may need to replace this poor can. Wow. I tell you what, I tell you this for true. The older I'm getting, the more often I'm doing shit that just doesn't make, that just is like physically dropping things, tripping over things that I never ever used to do. And now, like, I'm fucking dropping shit all the time. Not all the time, but just way more frequently than I used to. The other day I dropped a beer out of the fridge. This was like 4 months ago. And I was trying to put a pizza box back in the fridge. I was like, I'm going to do the right thing today. I'm not going to smash out this whole pizza. I'm only going to have 5 pieces. I'm going to leave the rest for tomorrow, have it for breakfast. Look at me go, eating healthy dinner. What a legend. So I'm sliding this pizza box into the fucking fridge, and I'm holding something else in my other hand because I didn't want to put it down and do the logical thing, which is take a little bit of extra time to do something properly. I thought, no, I'm going to hold this and put the thing in the fridge. So I bump a beer. That's right. I was holding the beer, and I dropped the beer because I was trying to maneuver things around. Anyway, I dropped the beer and it fell, and it landed perfectly on the ground with the middle circle like the beer, and it just went thunk. And then instead of beer like just shuddering and going psh, it actually bounced because it landed so perfectly straight, and the beer like shot up like it was a fucking geyser, and I had beer on the roof. Like the beer just went straight up and hit the roof, and then it came down on my head, on my face, on the fridge, all over the place. And I was sat there looking at myself covered in beer shards all over the ground, because obviously on the bounce it had fucking smashed. I just thought to myself, fucking hell, I don't ever remember doing this in my 20s. Like, I would never ever drop anything in my 20s. And now here I am, nearly 40, and I feel like I'm dropping shit all the fucking time. Anyway, my advice, friends, don't get old. Wonderful. It's been a great day so far. Killing myself. Killing me. Alright, here we go. Let's roll. We're back in the zone. It's time. It's time for these great chaps. Hello, friends. So this shield's removable. We're gonna do that separately. I just wanted to varnish it or do its stuff with the thing on, so I could figure it out. And I've also done this guy. Boo. I think we're gonna save him till. No, we might do him second. Do the standard bearer last, maybe. Fuck me. Alright. Got a big decision to make, but I'm not going to make it yet. The big decision is, are we doing non-metallic metal or are we doing true metallic metal? No, I don't like the dog. I don't like the sculpt. I think the sculpt's bad. So I shan't be doing it. Alright. Yep, I got this big circular one. I posted a picture of it top on my Instagram and Twitter. It's just a big, nice, circular one. Nothing special about that. I tell you what though, I'm fucking hanging out for these new Chimera paints, eh? I'm really starting to enjoy using Chimera paints for the large percentage of my toy soldier painting. So I brought up my, I'll bring up my computer screen to show you what I've been staring at just before I dropped shit this morning. Yeah, that's the decision that we have to make. G'day, Ravencat. Alright, so I've just been on the Googs, trying to find some pictures of the logos and stuff. Oh, here we go. This one's good. So, just in case you didn't know, these trio of busts, they're Gaelic busts, Gauls, Vercingetorix, and some other Gaelic warriors. So I just thought I'd go and have a look at some patterns on shields and so forth, because there's actually 2 shields. Let's see if we could find anything interesting. A lot of tartan patterns being shown. Look at this fucking mad picture. Vercingetorix. I just want to fucking have a look at the fucking picture, for fuck's sake. Senatus Populus Romanus, for the Senate and the people of Rome. What else we got? Let's see more. So there's not a lot of pictures detailing the specific patterns. So maybe, oh, here we go. A lot of spirals. Thanks, Top. When you're doing historical busts, as I so infrequently do, I think it's important to do this sort of research and at least have a little bit of understanding about. I like that picture. Just that shield in the back there with the yellow, that could be interesting. Yeah, really important you do your research with the old historical friends. Wikipedia has some interesting facts about them. What about we go shield? Look at these crazy guys. Oh, raw. They're the Cisalpine Gauls. Different Gauls. A lot of spirally patterns though, isn't there? The ancient Britons. So the Gauls were not people that wore. Yeah, cool. Gauls were not people that wore blue war paint. Interesting. Okay, so that was all relevant for what we're about to do today, probably. We're just going to do his skin tone today. So, who's watched The Wheel of Time? Who's excited to talk about it? This guy. Cool. Well, I'm going to provide a non-spoilered review for those people who enjoy hearing my hot take on movies and television shows, which I know is very few of you, but it's the advantage of being in charge of what I talk about. I get to talk about whatever I want. Ah, yes, well. Still. So I'm going to provide my girlfriend's perspective, because she is, as many of you know, somewhat of a harsh critic. She knows what she likes, knows what she doesn't. She was not a fan. Did not enjoy it at all. Went so far as to say, this is the worst fucking show you've ever made me watch. Wow. Well, let me give you some context to that. So, everyone that's doing reviews, every person that's articles and stuff that I've read, it's like, yeah, Wheel of Time is all about this comparison with Game of Thrones. Everyone's all about the comparison. And it's inevitable, right? Game of Thrones is a huge book series, wildly successful TV show. A Wheel of Time, mate. It's on Amazon Prime. Came out on Friday. It's based on Robert Jordan's vast and sprawling epic of books. Yeah. So they all start with Game of Thrones comparisons. Which is absolutely inevitable and completely fine. However, and this is one of the reasons why my girlfriend was immediately disinterested. Those two book series are vastly different tone. Game of Thrones is a political drama set in a fantasy universe, and the show leans into that even more. Whereas Wheel of Time, it starts as a traditional Tolkien-esque fantasy. Like in every aspect, it is almost a Tolkien clone. So when I said to my girlfriend, what's Wheel of Time about and what's it like? I reflected on that and was talking about the majority of the later books, which are very much about political manoeuvring and some major players in the universe doing things. But early on in the book series, early on in the show, it's just a straight Wheel of Time port, Lord of the Rings port. So we're watching the first episode, and she's paying attention, and she's like watching, and it gets to the end, and she's like, "You ready for my review?" I said, "Yep, can't wait." She goes, "It was shit house." Absolutely shit house. And I was like, wow, I'm so surprised by that. But when I thought back on it, because I then was like, "Yep, cool, I'm watching the second one, see ya." So I just rolled straight into the second. And she sat through the second, and then I was like, "Yep, I'm watching the third, see ya." She went and played The Sims. And then I watched the third, and I actually think the third is probably the strongest of the 3 episodes that came out. I'll talk about the individual episodes in a second, but yeah. So overall, if you are planning on going into the Wheel of Time and watching it and thinking this is the next Game of Thrones, don't do that, because it's unlikely to meet those expectations at all. If you go into it thinking this is a fantasy romp like Lord of the Rings, you may have a better experience. Robert Jordan's books, there's 14 of them in the series. They cover a myriad of worlds, universes, characters. There's easily more characters in Wheel of Time than just about anything else. I've heard a lot of things about Legion. Is it worth watching? The first episode really felt rushed to me. Really rushed. Just around how much they felt like they needed to cram in. There's some departures from the books which many book fans are going to be upset about. I'm not one of those people who was concerned about the changes. I actually liked the majority of the changes. The first book came out in the 80s. I don't think the first book would be written exactly the same way in this day and age. And I think it makes sense that they've made some updates to a few aspects of the story. Having said that, there is a show change where character is created for the pure extent of fridging said character. If you're unfamiliar with the term fridging, feel free to look it up. It's an amusing term. But I got to the end of the first episode. This is the Wheel of Time, mate, the new Amazon show based on my favourite book series. My non-spoiler review. The first episode really tries hard to avoid heaps and heaps of exposition, like explaining things, and it crams in a lot of action and set pieces as a result. But sometimes it felt like, wow, I'm really struggling as a non-book reader to follow much of what's happening here. But some really cool moments in the first episode. Special effects I enjoyed a lot. Great introduction of some characters. So the second episode actually had the opposite problem, I felt. Felt like there was a lot of exposition being explained throughout the episode. There's a lot of good examples of show don't tell filmmaking in the first episode. I felt like they had to really lean on the Gandalf character explaining, oh, this thing and this thing and this thing, and it felt a little bit it just felt a little bit talky, a little bit too much exposition, but it finished with a reasonable bang. And then the third episode, as I said, felt like the strongest to me for a variety of reasons, which I won't go into as I'm doing a non-spoiler review, but there was some really good opportunities for characters to spread their wings and tell different stories. Overall, a lot of people are upset that the show hasn't been an absolute word-for-word translation. There's been a lot of people on the internet upset about that, saying this isn't Wheel of Time, not my Wheel of Time, whatever. I will never understand people like that. Guys, girls, friends. They can't take away the books. No one's going to take them away from you. The books are still there. You'll still have those characters exactly as you imagine them in your head. That's it. Well, yeah, I mean, Harry Potter's a great example, right? Like, everyone looks back at the Harry Potter movies, the first two are direct, word for word almost in some cases, ports. And everyone widely considers those two the worst of the Harry Potter films. Now, I will say this though, the director, Christopher Columbus, was probably given strict instructions to do that, so that the book readers would want to go and see the movie and like it, so that they would get more films. And the first and second Harry Potter books are also the least adult in tone and have the least complexity of story, so it probably makes sense. But yeah, overall, the later films, the ones that evoke the source material without being beholden to it, were the better ones. So I told you what my girlfriend thought, but I didn't tell you what I thought. I couldn't stop watching it. And I've seen this, I know exactly what happens to the characters, I know the story inside and out, and I couldn't stop watching it. Now, part of that was me being like, oh, I wonder what they're going to do, I wonder how they're going to change this. But it wasn't in a, oh, fuck, I can't believe they changed that way. It was in a, I'm excited to see how they change it and see if I can understand why. Bucks, good morning, mate. What's going on? Do you know, I understand that perspective, mate. I was like, oh, fucking, they're like $100, mate. You can go to Bunnings and you can buy a Dremel for $100. This one is my Dremel, and I actually think this is a Dremel 200 from Bunnings. I actually think this is like $60. And I've had it for like fucking 7 years. And it does literally everything I need. So if you go into the Wheel of Time expecting it to be Game of Thrones, it is not Game of Thrones. It will not become Game of Thrones for a number of episodes, seasons potentially. It will move into a Game of Thrones tack, but Game of Thrones focuses on the stories of nobles, of the machinations of nobles and their challenges. The Wheel of Time starts off in a very traditional manner for a fantasy story. It's about some farm people who get thrust into the middle of things. And how they cope with that. And I'll give you the hot tip, those farm people eventually become kings, nobles, etc. Yeah, everyone's talking about Arcane. I went and had a look at it the other day. It is an animated show. I tap out. I just can't do it. Yeah, maybe I'll get over it, but at this point in time, it seems unlikely. Just trying to think of an animated show that I've really gotten into. I mean, the last animated show that I was really in love with, that I would still watch to this day, was Futurama. Boom, 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 boom. Yep, Castlevania, another one, big demo, can't get into, just have no drive to watch animated shows. Yeah, that's probably true. Although I never watched the original. So anyway, the first 3 episodes of Wheel of Time dropped. If you're at all interested in fantasy stories, I'm sure you'll watch it. If you're unfamiliar with the books, I expect you'll probably enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed it. I have a feeling it is going to really have a strong finish to the season, based on my knowledge of the books and the pacing that the show is moving at. But you didn't have to cut me off. I got like it never happened to know we wouldn't have been. I did go through an anime phase when I was in school, where I watched a fair few animes. I vividly remember liking Ninja Scroll, one of my favourites, and I really got into the like the Street Fighter, the Fatal Fury. They did some really cool versions of those, which I enjoyed a lot. But yeah, I never really watched that many series or shows. Yep. Just not for me, friends. And that's okay. We don't all need to like the same things. I watched Spirited Away, but I watched that when I was sitting at home one night, just flicking channels. I don't think I watched all of it. And I think I watched Totoro, maybe. Yeah, I'd be willing to give some more of them a go. I think probably the the thing that I struggle with is that you just miss the connection. I mean, I've watched some good animated stuff where the digital actors or the actors have done a really good job. But I've never had a voice actor be able to evoke the same level of emotion or interest that I've got in a real actor. I would like to watch Howl's Moving Castle because I watched a video on YouTube of a dude building it out of junk, and I liked it. Good video, actually. I'm back into Gloomhaven. The campaign released. I played it on Wednesday night on my stream. G'day, Gut and Colour Gold. So let me just talk a little bit about what I'm doing here with my big fat brush. You know what to do with that big fat brush. Wiggle, wiggle. That was a weird divergence. Yeah, I'm just painting some volumes, but I'm trying to be a little bit more Sergio-esque than normal. We may try and use the airbrush in a slightly different way, less blends, more subtlety. So this box set is from FER Miniatures. It's 3 Gaelic Gauls. I don't think the other 2 are specific Gaulish people, whereas the main one is Vercingetorix. Who was the son of a Gaelic chieftain who Caesar defeated, stepped up in his father's footsteps, kicked some goals. What a dude. So the front on angle that we'll be looking at is this sort of angle. So I'm trying to be respectful of that when I'm considering my highlights. Crixus, the undefeated Gaul. What a legend. So I'm actually going to try avoiding some of my favourite colours. Going to try for this sunny skin tone being the brightest value colour that I use. We'll see how long that lasts. Now, I think it's time for a bit of a vote. I did ask this question earlier in the stream, but interested in your thoughts, friends. Do we go for non-metallic metal, or do we go for true metallic metal on this piece? I know, Bucks, your vote is true metallics. So we've discussed it already. It's a good subject matter for true metallic metal. Absolutely. Don't think we'll be going Kirill non-metallic metal if we do go non-metallic metal, but maybe we will try and push it a little bit. This is the question we must ask ourselves, friends. Is it time to do a non-metallic metal piece where we really try and step it up? Or is it time to whip out the old true metallic metal muscles and have a flex? Haven't done them for a while, but I feel pretty comfortable with my true metallics skill set. Good one, good vote. Accepted. Appreciated. Alright, and I'm just going to switch to a slightly smaller brush for this last. Yeah, there's two really models where I think non-metallic metal in this trio that'll look really good. This one's the least impressive for non-metallic metal, but this sword's quite nice. So, FER Miniatures, welcome, buddy. Well, Bucks is pushing heavily for the true metallics. I have fun painting, mate. So both will be fine. We'll absolutely have fun painting either of those techniques. All right, let's zoom out so we can do some airbrush. Yes, I saw. Did you work yourself up to it too much? Were you too into it? Were you like, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking be mad dogging with textures and all this sort of stuff, and then you realised it was fucking bad? I've done that. Yeah. Sure, baby, I know it. Alright, so we're just going to use a little bitsy bit of this mid-tone-ish colour to make me look better. Surefire recipe for Your next piece looking like shit. Your last one being awesome. G'day, Sleepy Slang. Alright, I'm happy with that thus far. Now let's add some interesting colours into the skin tone. So let's think about the environment. Forest environment, so I want to add some greens. We're going to use contrast paint here. I'm going to make it pretty overt, I think. Let's see how we go. This may backfire. Danzaron, welcome. Don't love that, you know. Alright, had enough of that green. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, I was pretty happy with it actually. I think it's probably up there with one of my best that I've done. And as usual, whenever I feel that way, it's unlikely that the world considers it the same as I do. So we didn't score that well on putty and paint. But I love it. That's all that matters. I haven't sold it, no. No. I had a couple of people ask about it, but that is indeed peanut butter, my friend. The paint to end all paints. Alright, I've had enough of that now. I feel like I've got enough on there that I don't need to worry about that anymore. Let's get some volupus pink happening, I think, friends. Dear oh dear, everything's failing today. I haven't got any water. G'day, paint liquor. What's going on, you superstar? Bloop, 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 bloop. Outstanding. We got some water. G'day, Conrad. What's happening, my friend? How's Hush coming along? Volupus pink it is. It is indeed time for some volupus pink. Possibly my favourite contrast paint. You all know it and love it. One assumes. Shadowrun. Nice. Alright, and the last little bit I'm going to do is just one little final tweak. Yeah, this is one of the trio of galls from FER. I've got all three of them. 1 to 6 scale. I've only done a couple of things of that size, and interestingly, I find you actually need to go the opposite. Less contrast. It is spot on, Conrad. Yep. Yeah, less contrast is what you want to do for the bigger stuff, because there's natural light and natural contrast. So the more heavily contrasted you are, the less effective it looks. There's a balancing act, but yeah. All right. Yeah, don't mind that. Don't mind that so far. No, mid-range is fine, mate. I'll give you the hot tip. I can do just about everything I do with a fucking $50 airbrush. So Alfonso did this guy's hair in white. No, you definitely don't need to. You'll find it easier, right? Like it's easier with a better airbrush. We all know this. But when you're starting out, mate, you're better off with a cheaper one to learn the skills. I've used one before, it was fine. I have no strong feelings one way or the other. That's not how mine is. I'm going to fill in this roby thing. Yeah, let's go for a tartan-esque colour. Yeah, I'm regretting not airbrushing this red over the base now, but Yeah. Most airbrushes will do the job perfectly adequately. What you pay for on the more expensive ones, what you're paying for is reliability. It'll keep doing it for a longer amount of time. The quality of the parts, you're less likely to damage it if you drop the bad boy. And then the accuracy can improve, but you won't really notice the difference in the airbrushes until you've got a level of skill. Yep, pretty much. I tell you what, that's one area I don't have a lot of experience in. I have had one compressor for 20 plus years. 20 is an exaggeration, let me think about that. How many years it has actually been? It's been at least 10 years, maybe 15, and the compressor's still kicking goals. Now it's definitely been more than that. So I don't remember the exact date that I got it, but let me let you know a little fun fact, friends. The way I'm counting back here is by girlfriends. In my head I'm like, I was with her for 4 years, I was with her for 7 years, and then I was with her for another 3 years, because it was a girlfriend who actually bought me the compressor. That is my recollection of time. So there you go. Well, she bought it for me, right? So I'm not just being an absolute twatburger there. Alright, you all know what time it is. Well, you probably don't, but Bucks loves this fucking colour. Wine red. Alright. So we are going to use some tartan patterning and stuff. First I want to build up the overall volumes. Cool. Sleepy Slang. I've been right into Black Sails. I am 2 episodes away from finishing the series. It gets a solid 8 out of 10 from Big Deno. It's a few years old now, but I never watched it at the time. Very good. 8 out of 10 would bang. And I talked a lot about Wheel of Time this morning at the start of the stream, just how I felt about the Amazon adaptation of one of my favourite book series. So I'd very happily talk about it again. Oh, well, this would be an interesting one. How did you feel about the first episode? And don't worry, you won't offend me by telling me your actual thoughts. Intriguing. When you say her acting, you mean the actual actress and what she's doing with the character? Cool. Some good observations. Nah. I'm not offended at all. This is the thing, there's a lot of people out there that have posted fucking comments about how they hate the show and they've ruined Robert Jordan's fucking world and blah 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 blah. Piss off, idiots. The books still exist exactly as they did 2 days ago. You can go and read those whenever you want. Nothing's changed. Same thing happened when Peter Jackson made the fucking Lord of the Rings and everyone was like, oh, it's not fucking Lord of the Rings. Why is it Arwen there? What's happening? Peter Jackson's ruined the fucking thing. You cannot take a book and convert it to television or movies without adapting elements of the book or the movie into the movie, because you're never existing inside a character's head. And so much of the richness and the nuance that comes from books comes from characters' heads and their expressions and their thoughts, their innermost feelings. You don't get that in TV shows. That has to be brought out in other ways. So, it's never going to be the same. It can't be the same, or it'll just be fucking outrageously bad. So the magic system in the Wheel of Time, I'll give you a little background on that, because that actually is pretty cool. So they're called channelers. They channel the one power, which is the big power source. It's split into 2 halves. The males have access to a half and the females have access to a half. The female half, channelers, both channelers weave elements. They'll draw elements from around them. So that was interestingly interpreted in the show. Fire, earth, air, traditional elemental magic. But they, in the book, they're what they do is they weave strands of these things, these elements together. So in the books, they deal a lot more with the wheel itself, the Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time is what drives people's lives, and it weaves the threads of people's lives into a thing called the pattern of ages. So there's a lot of symbology around like weaving and threads in the books. So the actual book talks about weaving those threads of the elements together to create the various things that you want to do with the one power. So what they've done in the show, they've sort of given you these strands of energy without necessarily like seeing them being woven into things. Males and females both channel the one power in a different way too, which is also one of the cooler things. There's a lot of duality, a lot of balance in the books, which I really like. But yeah, so females, they channel the power by surrendering to it. So they basically will fill themselves with the power and then surrender, and by surrendering, that very act allows them to control what happens. Males don't surrender, they fight, they have to wrestle with the power. So there was a really interesting moment in the first episode where a character was flowing down a river and kept struggling and was struggling to maintain herself in the river, and kept fighting to try and stay afloat and blah blah blah. And then she surrendered to the river and just let herself float. That was actually symbology of the fact that that's how you channel the female version of the one power, which was very, very cleverly done, I thought, and a little nod for people who know the books intimately. There was quite a few little elements like that I liked a lot of. Yeah, the magic system in Wheel of Time is really, really interesting. They're never going to be able to capture the way that Robert Jordan captures it in the books. The male channelers, female channelers, they all weave the same elements, but they approach the channeling in different ways and have different methods for achieving the results. But they weave together certain elements for certain spells. Like if you want to, you can create a magic sword out of fire, right? You just make a sword out of fire, have a flame sword, cool, you just use fire. But creating a spell that heals someone, you might have to use water and fire and air and equal measure, and it's just really, really cool in the books, and they'll never be able to do that in the show, never at all. But I'm okay with that. And the female character, Moiraine, is very snooty in the books, very snobby. So I feel like they've done a really good job with casting her and the way that she's portraying the character so far. I honestly think, based on what I've seen in the first 3 episodes, I feel like it's going to be a slow burner, where it's going to start out, they've got so much exposition, they've got so many characters to introduce, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle a lot. But they will eventually reach a point, one hopes at least, where the exposition's done and they can start to focus on some of the really nice interplay between the characters. So I feel like we're going to get there towards the later end of the season, and once we get through the tedium of the world building, should be good. I just really desperately hope the show gets to go for as long as Game of Thrones did. That they get to finish the story. Hey, unexplained. Because some of the character arcs in the show are absolutely awesome. Some of the moments that happen in the show are compelling. I think it'll be awesome if they get to go as far as I would like them to. They may not, that's the thing. They may not get to do it. It's going to take a lot of support and a lot of investment for them to get as much get as far as Game of Thrones did. They're aiming for 8 seasons. Aiming to condense 14 books into 8 seasons. Yeah. Give us the cash. Cracked out my Mage Knight box yesterday. Had a game. Gonna probably film a couple of games of Mage Knight. See if I can beat my highest score on film. I don't actually remember what my highest score is. I think it's 220. I'm going to check. Insights. Mage Knight. 226 my highest score is. I've got 226 with Tovak, 223 with Arathea, 222 with Norowas. I've cracked 200 with all of them. No, Sleepy Slang, didn't watch it. Good old Topless was talking about it a bit earlier. I'm just not into animated shows in general, mate. Just don't like animated shows. Many people have been talking about it, so maybe I should give it a crack. No spoilers, friends, please. There's some people in the chat who are enthusiastic about watching it, haven't finished it, but feel free to gush effusively about how you felt about the show. good. So I'm using Sunny Skin Tone here as a highlight on this red. See how it looks. It's very, very good. It's very, very good to have done this red now, because what I'm looking at the skin and seeing is just the skin's way too pale. We need to bring the skin back into some richness. Historical busts are always really good practice pieces for some of the fundamentals of painting miniatures. Fabric, skin, metal. You absolutely know that historical figures are pretty much made up of just those things, and if you're no good on those, your historical figures are going to look shit house. Alright, so I'm going to show you something here. So this whole area here that we're about to highlight. When you look at it front on, and the way that people will so often highlight is they will go and do the raised area. Well, let me just give you the hot tip. This area in here, all in there, is what needs to be a highlight, because that's where the light's hitting. So here, this is all highlight. I think people get that backwards, and it just looks slightly wrong. Any yellow will be fine if you paint white first. Absolutely any yellow will be fine. I use all sorts of yellows all the time. The key, the absolute key. Paint it over with white first. And you'll get this richest yellow that you can ever imagine. Sol Yellow from Scale 75 is tremendous though. Yep, Chimera yellow's delightful. Cold yellow, the warm yellow's a bit shit. But it's actually a really nice colour. Just doing a bit of wet in, wet. Yeah, please do, mate. Wet in, wet, ooh baby. Wanna mix you on my model. Wet in, wet, ooh baby. I love FER Miniatures sculpts. I love them. But I will say this, I don't love the fur that's generally sculpted on them. This in particular is not my favourite type of fur. A fur from fur. Just finish filling this in, mate, and then I'll bring it up. Alright. Let's have a look at Sleepy Slangs. Yellow. Oof. Thanks, Danzaron. You know, I hope you know I've finished the model since then. See you, buddy. I might catch you on later on, eh? Sleepy Slang, I like this a lot, mate. Like the light placements of the metals. Like the rust. It's good. It's really good. Gold's good. Particularly for a 32mm scale, that's awesome. And I like the yellow. I feel like where maybe yellow's feeling a little bit off, you may have just gone a little bit too brownish with the shadows. Yeah, please do, Conrad. Maybe just a little bit too brownish. But I feel like it fits in with the palette. I like it. That's cool. I'd be chuffed with that if that was one of mine. If that's the case, man, it's time for you to go and sign up for a Patreon or something like that. Oh, Conrad. Hey, that backdrop's fucking awesome, man. He literally peeled wallpaper, eh? Epic. This is a disgrace. This is a fucking disgrace. Mind you, how old is this, Conrad? Yeah. Nearly 10 years ago, mate. 10 years ago. Not enough saturation for my liking, Conrad. How is Nakatan voted this 6 days ago and you fucking uploaded it in 2013? What is going on there? Oh, Nakatan, you're killing me. Yeah, Dancer, and I finished this chick before, in between. I don't know if you saw her, but yeah, I was really happy with her. She came out awesome. Yep, I like her a lot. I like her a lot. Oh, skin. Skin is the best. Have you done many busts, Sleepy Slang? Go get yourself a nice bust like this guy. Heaps of skin. And don't use traditional skin colours. Just mix some different colours in. Please, Danzeron, upload away, mate. Let's grab out that colour. Let's grab that colour. Cloudy sky. And that colour. Yellow. Sun ray. Alright. I actually pulled up Seb's article from Simon on True Metallics literally a couple of days ago, Conrad, showing a couple of the other dudes that article, because I remember back in the day that blew my mind. That article absolutely blew my mind. The actual figure, the one that he painted in the article. Awesome. Yeah, he went through and sold a lot of them. A few years ago, he was. I don't think he was a dude who wanted to sell many models, and yeah, he just did a flip and started selling everything. I wish I bought one actually. Here's my diorama. Woo. Here's Danzeron's piece. Let's have a look. I like a lot of things about this, mate. I like the metal, the glints, the placement of the lights. I like the colours. I don't like the skin tone that much. It's a bit too pink. Yeah, I don't like the skin tone. To me, it feels very pink. And I think given that you've got an emerald sort of green, you could have gone more reddish, like a more fiery orangey red. And I think that would have looked cooler. And I think that probably the only observation I've got is that you've got heaps of green reflections in the metal. It doesn't feel like you've got the same level of red reflections in the metal. I can see some, yeah, Conrad, spot on, mate. I can see some in the bottom, but I can't see any, particularly up around the shoulder pads on the side there. You've got the green looks absolutely perfect, like the amount of green in there, but there should also be some red, which is super tricky to do. But it's a cool piece, mate. I think that's probably the best painting I've seen from you. Wow, what interesting hair this is going to be to paint. 1 second, champion. Let's have a bay peep at this one. Yeah, again, man, another piece I really like of yours. Come a long way in 8 months, champion. The fabric has a real nice like sheen to it in some spots. Looks pretty good. I like the colours, the complementary, like magenta and limey green. Yeah, I know you didn't ask for feedback, so I won't go much more into it. But yeah, I think it's time for you to go and find someone to learn from. I'll talk about this a little bit. There's 2 aspects to being good at anything. There's skill and there's knowledge. And those 2 things usually act against each other. So when you are skilled at something, physically skilled, you can often reach a point where you feel like, oh fuck, I don't know what to do now. I'm stuck. I don't know how to improve. You feel like you can do everything that you're telling your fingers to. Go, Ghost Raven. Thanks, mate. So the other side of it is when you have too much knowledge and not enough skill, and often that's what most people have the problem with, is they have heaps and heaps of knowledge running around in their brain and they're like, yeah, I can do this, yeah, I can do this. But actually, what they need to do is just go sit down and paint for a bit. They need to learn, need to practice. Yeah, opposite problem for you, champion. Your skill set's good. It's time for you to go and learn how to do some different things. Whether that's, Sergio does airbrushing stuff. Whether that's Alfonso, who's all about colour mixing. Whether it's about Craft World, it'll melt your brain. Go find a good Patreon. Absorb some knowledge, absorb some learning. And then what you'll find is you'll go back to the table and you'll be like, wow, I have no idea what I'm doing again. And that's when you start practicing and trying different things. Yeah. Richard Gray's a crazy dude. I am not at all capable of understanding how that guy goes. Fuck, Alfonso did grey hair on this, didn't he? Or white hair? I don't just want to be a direct rip of Alfonso's version of this, but I just feel like his hair looks really good. White. Well, mate, it sounds as though you know what's up next then, where you need to go. You've reached conscious incompetence in the 4 stages of competence. It's okay, Ghost Raven, we don't need to be rated here, mate. We like rating little people. People who haven't got heaps of viewers. I don't need to be rated, friend. I'm comfortable and secure in the knowledge that I'm a celebrity. Still haven't decided, mate. Still have not decided on true metallics or non-metallics. We've got only 2 real elements on this piece that need to be determined whether that is, which is the sword and this little lapel thing. You should. It's a great article. Whoever wrote that's a fucking legend. Yeah, I really have no idea actually. Like, I want to... I think I want to do non-metallic metal and continue challenging myself on that. But it has been a long while since I've done true metallics on a display figure. And it's been an even longer while since I've done them on stream. I wrote an article about miniature painting and how to get better at it. However, it's a little bit different to most normal miniature painting articles on how to get better at it. It was about the mentality behind getting better at things. Here is the link. Indeed, it is. But I will challenge you and say that Kirill's breaking a lot of rules in that regard. True. Kirill does not count. Alright, I've already failed at my challenge to not use this colour. But I need to for this bit. We don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. Yeah, Megsy's crushed that one. I don't know actually. I haven't spoken to her in a couple of, probably been about a month actually. I've got to get in touch with her shortly. We're going to talk about Crystal Dragon. They were supposed to announce some info at the start of November. Not looking good. But they haven't. Alright. Where's my... there. I feel you. I feel like she's really done some neato stuff there. Probably one of her best pieces in a long, long time. Total power, sing along, have a good time. Do 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 do. We don't make mistakes. We just have happy accidents. Nah. Well, that's a lie. I have considered it. I've considered it a few times. And if I lived in Europe, one of the countries with a lower cost of living, I'd probably consider it. But yeah, in Australia, cost of living is outrageous. So plus I don't want it to feel like work. I don't do it for anything other than enjoyment. And so I have fun. I don't feel obligated to do it. I relax. Paint some toy soldiers, have fun. If I don't want to paint toy soldiers, I go and play board games. I don't have to do it. I've taken on commissions in the past and it's just, you know, it can be super depressing. G'day Wampa. Going alright, mate? I have painted the figure. I haven't painted the bust. I'd like to. Actually, there's been some fucking banger busts coming out recently that I haven't bought that I'm going to buy. Alana's one. Those three Asian styled chicks from Chimera that just come out the last couple of days look absolutely fucking mint. Well, not last couple of days, whenever they came out. Unreal. What's this one? Mini Meth? Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, I painted that version. I didn't paint the bust yet. I'd like to. I didn't do too bad on the non-metallic metal on that, did I? Sword and the shoulder pad look good. Knee pad looks good. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Only at the moment, mate. You'll get better. We all do. So anytime I'm painting red, I'm always fighting against it becoming pink. But there has to be some value shift, otherwise it just looks flat and bland. So this is definitely turning into pink, but we'll use some inks. Thanks, Conrad, you're a legend, mate. We'll use some inks to bring it back into more red, rich red. But we're going to use some brush strokes in the meantime. Yeah, I haven't watched one of his streams in a little while. I'll have to go check something out. He's a magnificent painter, that guy. Very nice man too. Yeah. Yes, he's done some good feedback sessions. I nearly posted one of my figures on there for feedback from him the other day, but then I remembered I can just fucking send him a post and he'll do it for me anyway because he's a good bloke and I'm a fucking legend. Mate, Meg is exactly where I learned the technique myself many years ago in one of her classes. So awesome, mate. I love it when my techniques work well. I do indeed, yes. Mate, the exact reason I bought that figure is because that red was what triggered the conversation about how the fuck did you do that red, Megs? And now we're here. I'll grab the figure out. I'll grab the figure out in a sec. Stand by. I've actually got a couple of new models arriving for my collection in the next few weeks. One from Natalia and one from CHK Studio. Pretty pumped. So yeah, this is Meg Maple's Lord of Lion. True metallic metals. I just remember, so I picked this up during her class and I was absolutely blown away. Still haven't got around to Muskinate. He's completely dogged me on telling me where to send money from him. Like, I want to buy it, and he's like, just hasn't sent it to me. So that's all right. I'll get in sometime on another one. Whenever, wherever, whenever we're meant to be together, I'll be there and you'll be near. That's the deal, my dear. We're over, you're under. Indeed. I did a version of that as well. No, that one's not mine, my friend. That one belongs to Meg Maples. Another miniature painter. I purchased it from her for the exact reason that you just described, because it's awesome. Yeah, I did a whole video just on going through my collection, but I reckon I might do that again soon, because back when I did that I wasn't very popular on Twitch, and now I'm just like a fucking celebrity, so out if this is true. I have. Yes. It looks okay. Doesn't look perfect, doesn't look like right. But I think if you experimented with that technique, you could do some cool shit, I reckon. G'day Zambies, what's going on, you champion? That's not the brush I want. This one. Let's all give Zambies a shout out. She's a superstar. Fuck, my shout outs aren't working yet. Shout out Zambies. I'm gonna get Flick to help me fix it. I don't know how to fix it. I broke it. Go follow Zambies. Thank you, yes. It's going okay so far, this one. We started it this morning. What's that, 2 hours ago? It's all coming along okay at the moment. Yes, good work, Sleepy Slang. Oh. Eeny Minis, welcome. My precious. Okay. Where's some black? Alright, final moment of truth. In the thread, last chance, time to vote. Do we go true metallic metals or do we go non-metallic metals for this piece? Please cast your votes. True metallics or non-metallic metals? One TMM, 2 TMM, 3 TMM, 2 NMM, 3 unexplained. What can I sing for you, sir? We're leaving tonight. I swear there is nowhere to run. We're leaving town. It's the final countdown. The final countdown. I love that one. I feel comfortable with both of them, mate. I can do anything. It's just a matter of what I'm most enthusiastic about doing at the time. And I kind of feel like The reason I'm struggling with it is because I do feel like I want to do non-metallic metal. I think it'd be a good challenge, but true metallics is not something I've done in a while. So, my man. Yeah. All right, we're going to count the votes. 1, 2. It's a true metallic metal. We're doing true metallics. Great, we're doing true metallics. Excellent. I will do true metallics on this piece, friends. Should be a good challenge. Just in case you haven't seen this, this model exists as a part of a trio. And I'll just show you the picture of what it's going to look like. This is what they look like. These great three friends, super friends, in fact. 3 super friends. So I've got this dude, hello, and this dude, hello. I'm going to leave the standard bearer till last. Yeah, it's unreal combo of models. I love them. They're very, very good. So the eventual plan will be true metallic metal on all of those chaps. Eventually. Fair bit of work to go before we get to that stage. So one of my personal idiosyncrasies is that I like to varnish all of my figures with spray can varnish. Usually because I'm sending them overseas and I feel like it protects the paint job a little bit better. So, however, when you do that, it absolutely can kill the shine of true metallic metals. So the way that we're going to approach this, so we're going to do true metallic metal, we're going to shadow and do the shadows of the true metallic metal, and then we're going to varnish it, and then we're going to do the true metallic metals afterwards, the last bits. So the reason we're doing that, one of the keys to getting successful looking true metallic metal is creating the contrast between the reflective areas and the areas that are not reflective. So to make true metallic metal look really effective, you need to have areas that are matte in the true metallic metal. Alright, so we'll get onto that a little bit later on. Oof. Now that the decision's been made, I'm excited. Oh yeah, there was an article written in 2009 by Sebastian Archer, and you'll find it on Cool Mini or Not. It was actually originally posted on the Oz Painters Forum, which is where I came across it. But allow me to find the article and link it for you. In a moment. Allow me to get it for you right now, sir. Automaton TMM, maybe? Tool Mini. Or every time I try to find it, I'm like, fucking hell, what do I need to Google to find it? Because it's stuck in the middle of the internet. Here we go. No, I was wrong. It was 2007. Not 2009. Fantastic article. Seb's a wonderful painter and an absolutely lovely human being as well. His approach to true metallic metal. This is, we got into a really deep conversation the other day about just how much people's perspective on what miniature painting has evolved. You know, you go back in the day and Sebastian Archer was the absolute king of miniature painting. He won 4 Slayer swords and he won them all across the world, and you know, absolutely jet painter. And his approach is just glaze central. Just glaze after glaze after glaze. And you think about now, how many people glaze a lot these days in their painting, and the answer is not many, if any. How many do you know got skills to go away and rock a paint job like this? I don't know anybody. Little New Zealand hip hop for you there, friends. G'day, Chet. Indeed they do. And the glazing is very much not in fashion. G'day, Kai the miniature painter. What's going on? Are you a superstar? So I think there's a common misconception when people hear the term glazing. They think, yeah, well, everyone glazes, and absolutely. The difference is most people, when they're referring to that technique, assume that you glaze from the start, that you are using super dilute layers, many layers to create super smooth transitions, which absolutely works and is absolutely a fantastic technique. If that is what you like, I do not. The way that glazing is used in more modern painting, as Minium have talked about, is indeed using glazes to refine transitions. So I absolutely use glazes. I use those motherfuckers all the time. But I don't use them to build up layers. Yeah. Zero is a prime example. He's from the Kingdom Death Discord, if you're not familiar. And he's on, I think he's got Instagram actually. No, he's got Twitter. I follow him on Twitter. Well, mate, it sounds very tiring to a lot of people, which is why it has fallen out of fashion as the predominant approach to miniature painting. There are still absolutely exponents of it out there in the world doing magnificent things, but those techniques take a long, long time. Ain't nobody got time for that. I did see that one of the other guys from Australia, Bucks, and we were chatting about Danilo Cartacci's approach to the red, and it was absolutely outrageous. That guy is a fucking nutcase. His approach to miniature painting is wild. Alright, so I'm just going to fill in a few of these bits with black, because that's going to be the areas we paint our true metallic metals. Alright, we'll do the pants. And it came out so good too. So good. That's one of the great things about miniature painting. Everyone can do their own thing, and you can reach a point where you become excellent. See you, buddy. Thanks, Ghost Raven. Where you can become excellent at doing things your way. I mean, there's a miniature painter by the name of Bohun. There's a Patreon. He does a whole shit ton of dry brushing. I reckon there would be very few competitive miniature painters who would be like, yeah, dry brushing is the ticket. That's what I want to achieve. My desired outcome is dry brushing. And he's an absolute baller. Like, he just crushes it. So, there's many different ways to skin a cat, friends. Pick whatever way you like. Yeah, Christoph uses lots of glazes. Colwell does his stippling. Kirill does stipple glazing, which is like stippling and glazing. Sergio, heaps of airbrush. Alfonso, heaps of wet blending. You know, there's many techniques out there. Just got to find one that you like and that resonates with you. Wow, this big brush is getting a smashing today. Using it on a lot of things. Well done, sir. Well done. And how much did it cost you? The princely sum of $70, I imagine. Bit rich for my blood, pal. The people have spoken, mate. We've voted. We've made a decision on what we're going with, and the answer is we're going with true metallic metals on this, my friend. So enjoy. Let's go. Oh, shit, son. Fire up. Yeah, they've looked after you, mate. They've done you a massive solid. I was leaning towards true metallic metal, to non-metallic metal. I was just like, I was looking at this piece and I said, oh man, how much fun would that sword be to paint? I really want to do, and then I just like, nah, I'll let chat decide. Chat decides true metallic metals. We lock that bad boy in. It's been a decent whack of time since I've done some true metallic metals on a display piece, so this will be good to flex those muscles again. I have seen those before, my friend. Have not used them. Alright, so just a little bit of theory here, I guess. I've chosen a colour called dark green grey for these pants. I've chosen this colour because we have red. And so I want to have some grey, green to contrast with the red, but I don't want it to be like overtly green, particularly on a historical figure. So we just want a little bit of greenish tinge to this pantaloons. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas everywhere you go, and the prettiest sight you'll see is the holly that will be on your own front door. I am enjoying painting this historical figure. This is a very cool sculpt. Yeah, if you're keen on learning the fundamentals of miniature painting, bust painting, figure painting in general, historical figures are where it's at. Because they just have all those elements in abundance. Yep. Yeah, you can't cheat. It's just you're either in or you're out. Yeah, Mariah Carey, bring it on. All I want for Christmas is you, baby. I know my mum absolutely gave that song a pounding during Christmas. Fuck me. Well, this will be my first Christmas on stream, and I'll be able to share my feelings about Christmas. And for those who are concerned, I don't have negative feelings about Christmas. Can I just give you this observation, and I apologise in advance, but the folds on this piece of fabric are just a little bit suspicious. The location, I'm not comfortable with that. That's all I'll be saying on the matter. Outrageous. Hey, maybe this ghoul back in the day identified as a female. Good luck to him. I'm sure all of his ghoulish friends were very much like, yeah mate, we support your choice. We have freedom of choice here, buddy. What pronoun would you like to be used as? This guy's like, they, them, thanks. And all of his ghoul mates were like, you got it bro. I mean, friend. Sorry mate, hard habit to break. Who knows? I'm uncomfortable. I'm not really uncomfortable. It's just an interesting piece of fabric though, isn't it? Look at the shape of that. That is an interesting sculptural decision. There is indeed. Unfortunately, haven't hit that time yet, but I can feel it coming. I feel it coming. Yep. Alright, I'm about to show you one of my favourite tricks for historical painting. Well, painting in general, but I'm about to show you one of my favourite tricks. This is genuinely a really good trick. I'm not lying. Get yourself one of these flat brushes like this. This one doesn't look that flat at the moment. One of these flat bad boys. Alright? The irregularity of the bristles is actually a good thing. Get yourself some of your paint. Wipe some of your paint off, like this bad boy. And then, yeah, a bit of strong tone. And then, so I'm going to create folds, not folds, stitches, fabric, just from the direction of the brush strokes. Because the actual bristles have irregularity, and they'll create that for you. Why spend painstaking hours painting individual strands of fabric when you can just use a big fat brush and get that fabric look? I know. Think of all those years you've wasted painting textural elements. Well, I don't know that every miniature painter out there does, but I certainly do, mate. I certainly do. And then you just do the last Bobby Dazzlers with it, the old little brush. Get amongst it. Yep. I am indeed. Alright. Easy as you like. We have fabric. And now we will use contrast paint, because why not? You can do vertical texture in the same way, however, it is much harder. You need to go across the texture, the physically sculpted texture. If you did it up and down, what you can get is potentially those lines in the thing. You could do it, you just want a cleaner brush probably than the one that I just used there. Alright, let's get a bit of the old Creed camo happening, eh? Bit of Creed camo. Bit of green. Dirty green anyway. Bit of the old Gorgonta. Fucking hell, I can't believe I've been painting for 3 hours. This model's just been a dream. Useless wizard, g'day mate. I assume you are sick and unable to attend your Dungeons and Dragons commitments. Is that right? This is an Iwata HBP Plus. It's pretty expensive, I think. I think it was about 250 Australian dollars. Which is about 25 US bucks probably. Accuracy is my middle name. Trent Accuracy Dennison, people call me. Frequently. Frequently do I get called that. Alright. I'm enjoying a lot of aspects of this so far. G'day, Macca. No, I've only ever really had a couple of nicknames. The first was Hammer Time. I mean, aside from the obvious one, Big Deno. The obvious Big Deno. So I had Hammer Time. I think those are the only main ones I've had. Hammer Time, Big Deno, Hammer Sandwich. None else that I can just explain here. Anyway. You and that fucking Crusader sleepy slang, eh? Probably not. Probably not. Alright, let's do some leathery bits. Leather. So I'm not going to touch this leather, so, alright. I generally really like these sort of elements which are like animal pelt skins to have lots of discoloration and texture, so I'm actually not going to do too much to that. I'm going to do some cool leathery bits on this belt. If you like the Crusader so much, mate, why don't you marry it? Alright, most of this gear is covered by the shield, so I'm not going to go too crazy on that area down there with texture and what have you. Hey, does anyone know, were the Gauls about tattoos? No, the Crusader was in fact sold to someone who shall remain nameless. Oh, what one did you get? Top? XC laser? Oh, I'll probably finish up soon, mate. Yeah, it's been on for 3 hours, so I'll probably pack up shop, head across the road, get my usual Sunday tradition, which I haven't been able to participate in the last few weeks because I had Hugo here, little buddy boy. We hung out yesterday. Yep, good decision. That's the one I got. Works perfectly well. How far off is the game? I know that you told me they were in the thing. Yeah. LB games, no, it is absolutely not my full-time job. I am not interested in doing this as a profession. Enjoy, buddy. See you on Party Monday. Nice top. Let's hope so, mate, for your sake. His name is Wampa. He was a showgirl. No, Celtic is British history. Gauls are Germanic, I believe. Thank you, Haydos Barbados. I'm fortunate in that I still have some hairs on my forehead, so forehead cam doesn't just create a huge reflection for me, which is good. Yeah. So I just don't want to be throwing like tattoos, because this is a nice space here for a tattoo of some description. Yeah, I do have a silver fox going on actually. You should see it in real life, bro. It's when I shave my head and I don't have much of this going on. It's just salt and pepper all day, baby. The ladies are big fans of that. Man with experience, distinguished. That's what I tell myself. It's like, yeah. Oh, good looking bloke. Yeah. Hey Barbados, you heard anything about CanCon? Okay, I reckon a tattoo would look pretty good on this dude. Tucked behind his shield, of course, but I don't know. I don't want to I don't want to do something that is historically inaccurate. Well, actually, my friend, this is exactly the era of Rome's takeover. Vercingetorix was defeated by Caesar. I know that much. I think he's in the first season of Rome, actually. Caesar captures him, takes him back to the capital, chops off his head. I think it was Vercingetorix in that. Tonight, I'm going to rewatch The Wheel of Time. The first 3 episodes. Really dive deep into the show. I talked a little bit about him earlier, my friend, but I'm happy to discuss it again because it's my favourite book series of all time, and I have a Wheel of Time tattoo on my chest because I'm a fucking big old dork. I really liked it. Really liked it. I've read a lot of people who were complaining, a lot of book fans who were complaining about changes and stuff. I didn't feel any of that. I felt like you got to change to adapt for a television show from a book. You can't just go verbatim. It doesn't work. So having certain aspects of the characters aged up, certain storylines that didn't exist in the books, they're all about driving the narrative forward in a visual format as opposed to a written format. It's so easy to write emotions and things in a book. It's much harder to tell those and to determine motivation and so forth. So I believe it is, but I will caveat that because my girlfriend absolutely hated it. She thought it was terrible. But here's the thing. So if you are expecting a Game of Thrones, it is not a Game of Thrones. A Game of Thrones is a political drama, really lean heavily into like the politics. Wheel of Time is a archetypical fantasy story. You know, a young farm boy leaves home, learns about life, blah 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 blah, finds out he's got special powers, changes the world, etc. It's exactly like Tolkien, it's exactly like all those other ones. The first book was written in the fucking 80s, for crying out loud. It is an old series. So maybe it was not. No, I'm pretty sure it was the 80s because I read like book 5 when I was in grade 5. Anyway, so my girlfriend was going into expecting Game of Thrones, expecting all this political intrigue, and it was just like a fantasy story. So if you go into it knowing what it is, and you're willing to overlook probably some what I would consider clumsy world building in the first few episodes, I think it's got the potential to really grow into something awesome. I don't think it's there yet. There's a lot of aspects of it that I really enjoyed though. Okay, well, yeah, I think their casting of those two and the way that they were done was one of the highlights of the first few episodes. I thought her casting was great. I thought the way that she's playing the character is great. Land's great. That whole thing was great. Everything's great. Yeah. I mean, this is the scary thing, right? They've been given a budget of something like $10 million an episode, which is more than what Game of Thrones got back in the day. I think Game of Thrones started at about $5 million an episode, but the final seasons were 15, I believe. I was reading an article about it the other day. So there's aspects of it that feel a little bit, yeah, but it felt a little bit like that in Game of Thrones too, at certain stages. Like the entirety of season 2, the dragons were in little fucking boxes because they didn't have the budget to do them. Yeah, look, overall, I think it's got a lot of potential, and I think if you've read the books, you would know that the characters go through some pretty significant changes, and that the story becomes a lot more about some of the political manoeuvring and intriguing that occurs. Yeah, I feel that. But I'll tell you what, go back and watch the first season of Game of Thrones. Mate, Sansa is just fucking torturous. I think they would have been served. Yeah, again, I just think the show, I wouldn't be judging it on its first 3 episodes, because I feel like there's a character named Tom Merrilin, and the casting of him was just awesome. Like, I loved his introduction, and the way that he was put into the show. I reckon there's a lot of potential. Yeah, what I was going to say was I feel like they needed maybe one more big character, a big casting of a character. You know, in Game of Thrones they had Ned Stark, and they had Mark Addy as king, and Cersei, Lena Headey was pretty well known as well. So I felt like that they benefited from some really high quality actors, and I think maybe the only one that you've really seen thus far in Wheel of Time is Moiraine. So, oof. See, the White Cloaks was one of the standouts for me. I loved everything about their scenes. Aemon Valder was fucking epic, man. Absolutely epic, I thought. Alright, so I think we're going to call it a day there. So this is this chap so far, friends. So what have we got left to do? Well, we're going to we're going to do some fabric patterns on the red cloak, so some tartan, etc. We may do a tattoo of some description on his torso, and we just need to work on a few little other bits, the hair and the furs and stuff a bit more. But yeah, so far, promising start. I think the face looks quite good. I'm not happy with the eyes. We'll probably redo those. But yeah, we'll redo the eyes. Cool, there we go. Alright, well, that's a pretty good effort for today, I think. So tomorrow we might try and do this this shield on Party Monday. So I may just put that on a thing now. Yeah. Do some patterns or something, but yeah. Happy with this dude. We'll need to work on all of them as a whole and make sure they're all working together, but this guy stands here, roughly. Yep, cool. Alright friends, let's find some champion that we can raid, shall we? Thanks for joining me today on my delightful stream. Who have we got? Who have we got we can raid? We've got Jack of Clubs, painting. Monster Den Minis has just started. Let's go. Here, I'll do this. Yeah, well done, Kung Fu. Put. No. Put. Here we go. Piss off, Dino. Miniature figures. Jack of Clubs, painting some Gundam. Oh, Heretic TV. I love Sunday raids, friends. I don't normally raid on a Sunday, so as in most of my raids are at a different time. Oh, Kingdom Death, Winter Solstice. Yep, seen. A.T. Rogers. What's this guy doing? Oh. I like the looks of this figure. I don't think I've seen that dude before, so A.T. Roger might be the GO. Look at these peanuts. No Man's Sky's not miniature figures. Kafafofo Denesilno, you dickhead. Fuck off. Yep, let's go. Alright, let's go. What's his name? Raid channel A.T. Roger. Start the raid. Thanks friends, you're all great. Back tomorrow for Party Monday. Very pumped. And then this week is also my stream with Word Miniatures. So yeah, catch you all then. Big dinner. Out.
Dear Toshkian, thank you so much for that follow. I appreciate that. Oh shoot, I didn't see that raid come in. Oh, there it goes. Dano. Dano, how's it going? Thank you so much for bringing everybody here. How are you doing? How was your stream? What were you working on? We are working on a model today from Thistle. Useless Wizard, what's up? How's it going, dude? Working on a bust? Which bust? This is from Abyssal Miniatures, by the way. Abyss. Let me find the way to spell it. Oh no. Abyssal Miniatures. She's got a really long name that I don't know how to pronounce. Exclamation point model. It will give you a link to the model if you want to see it, how they came with their box art. But yeah, she's just a fun, like, little pirate lady. All that. Real cool metallic arms. She carries obviously a shamisen on the back. A couple of little swords. Enjoying this. Oh, really?